All right, let's tackle a huge question today. One that seems so simple on the surface, but is actually one of the most fascinating puzzles in science. What exactly is intelligence?
Okay, really think about this for a second. You've got slime molds navigating a maze, an ant colony building a bridge, even ChatGPT writing a poem. We look at them and we're quick to call them intelligent. But what if we've been looking at this completely backward? What if the answer is none of them?
So to get to the bottom of this puzzle, we've got to unpack the word itself. I mean, before we can go looking for intelligence, we need to have some idea of what it is we're actually searching for, right?
For centuries, we've basically treated intelligence as this thing, like it's a single measurable property of the universe, something like gravity or mass. We've just assumed it's out there, and our job is to find it and rank it.
But here's a radical thought. What if that's just not true? This quote really gets to the heart of it. The idea we're going to dig into today is that intelligence isn't something that objectively exists out in the world. Instead, it's just a subjective label, a tag that we pin on certain things we see.
Okay, so if it's a label we're applying, where'd we get it from? Well, it turns out the ruler we use to measure intelligence, it's shaped exactly like us. It's built entirely from our own, very specific evolutionary history.
I mean, look at this. Everything we value as smart is really just a bundle of skills our ancestors happened to pick up over millions of years to survive. Using tools, thinking strategically, developing complex speech, eventually writing, these weren't some universal signs of intelligence. They were just our solutions to our problems. They're what worked for us.
And that brings us to this really powerful idea. Intelligence isn't one single thing. It's a hominin-shaped heuristic. And a heuristic is just a fancy word for a mental shortcut. So when we say something is intelligent, we're not describing a property of that thing. We're just using a shortcut to say, hey, that reminds me of the toolkit that helped my ancestors survive.
Okay, if that sounds a little abstract, this rainbow analogy makes it super clear. Think about a rainbow. It's a real experience, right? You see it. But it doesn't just exist on its own. It needs you, an observer, and very specific conditions. Water droplets, the sun at just the right angle, and change any of those and the rainbow is gone. Well, the argument is that intelligence works the exact same way. It feels real, but it only appears under specific conditions. A human observer who sees an outcome that surprises them. It's all a matter of perspective.
So if our perspective is what creates this illusion of intelligence, what's the trigger? What's the little switch in our brain that flips, that makes us point at something and go, aha, that's intelligent?
Well, it turns out our brains are basically prediction machines, and they are incredibly efficient. You could even say lazy. They build a model of how the world is supposed to work, and then they just ignore everything that fits the model. It's all about saving energy. We only snap to attention when something breaks the pattern.
And there's actually a technical term for when that pattern breaks. Surprisal. It's that jolt you feel when the world doesn't do what you expected it to do. It's like a mental alarm bell going off in your head that screams, hey, pay attention to this. You might need to update your files.
Okay, here's how it all connects. It's basically a four-step process happening in your head. First, your brain forms an expectation. A squirrel can't solve a puzzle box. Second, you see that very thing happen successfully. Third, your brain flags this moment with that surprisal alarm. And finally, step 4, you slap the label intelligent on that surprising action. It's almost like our own surprise tricks us into seeing intelligence where there's just successful behavior.
Now, this whole idea of surprisal explains something you've probably noticed, especially when we talk about AI, the constantly moving goalposts for what we consider truly intelligent. It actually has a name. It's called the AI effect. And the computer scientist Larry Tesler put it perfectly. Intelligence is whatever machines haven't done yet. As soon as AI masters something, we kind of shrug and decide it wasn't a true test of intelligence after all.
Just look at this. It used to be that beating a chess grandmaster was the absolute peak of machine intelligence. Now, we just see it as a tough calculation problem. Same with complex conversation. For decades, it was the ultimate test. But now that we have large language models that can do it, some people are already moving the goalposts again, saying, well, it's not real understanding. So why do we do this? It all comes back to surprise. The moment we understand how something works, whether it's a chess algorithm or an ant following a chemical trail, it becomes predictable. The surprise is gone. And when the surprise vanishes, we take back our intelligent label. The magic trick is over.
All right, so where does all this leave us? If intelligence is just us admiring our own reflection in the world, what's the alternative? How are we supposed to think about all the amazing, complex systems and creatures out there?
This quote just nails the problem, doesn't it? We've accidentally turned our idea of intelligence into a human success-shaped cookie cutter, and we just go around squishing it onto everything else, other animals, AI, to see if they fit our shape.
And when you think about it, that's a huge problem. It means we're always asking if other species can do things our way. And in the process, we risk totally missing their own unique and brilliant strategies for success. We fail to appreciate, their own special sea otterness or worminess or sharkfulness.
So maybe the whole point isn't to go around looking for intelligence. Maybe the real goal should be to shift our entire mindset, to move away from judging everything and move toward just appreciating the incredible, diverse kinds of success that exist all over our world.
And that's really the big question I want to leave you with. If we could just put down our human-shaped ruler for a minute, if we could stop looking for a reflection of ourselves everywhere, what new wonders would we finally begin to see?